Yes, hello everybody. This is Ray from Rays United, and I'm back. Listen, the person I'm going to introduce needs no introduction, but since he went on his little break, there's been a few new people who have joined the channel. So you need to, get to see who Kozii is all about. Oh, sorry, what Kozii is all about and who Kozii is, because I know him, but some of you may not know him because you're new subscribers of the channel. So hey, without further ado, you know what to do. Smash the like button, of course. Smash the subscriber button, become a member if you want to, and share the content. We need it to go far and beyond because the things we discuss are mostly not scripted. Actually, all of it is not scripted. It's a discussion that we do engage in. So, be a part of it. Put your questions in the comment within context. And when I come back, is on. Here, of course, people. So if you don't know him, he's going to introduce himself. Kozii, who are you? Introduce yourself to my people.
Hey guys, I'm Kozii. My name is Chris Cosmo. And yeah, I'm a former Pi Network community moderator of 4 years, and now I write about Pi Network and health and lifestyle. And I just recently created a newsletter for pioneers. But yeah, that's me right now, and it's a pleasure to be here, Ray. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Kozii. I think we do have a feedback. So anytime you finish, you can pause it. Sorry, you can mute it. So when I speak, there'll be no feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Kozii. Really appreciate that. Anyway, listen, Kozii has got lots to say. We will discuss so many things. It's not a Q&A. So if you're watching, don't think it's going to be questions thrown at him. It'll be questions, but it's more like a discussion that we're having. He can even throw it back at me as well. And if I could answer, I would. Kozii, what have you been up to so far? Because, you went out of the scene the past few months. Obviously, you and I had some conversations sometime last year, early this year, if I'm quite correct. And we discussed it, and you said, you know what, you'll be back. You're up to one or two things. So, hey, what have you been up to? Please tell us.
Yeah, so last Pi today was when I basically went back to Hungary because I kind of thought there's going to be a lot of development in Pi Network, and even if there wasn't, there was just some project I was involved in, which allowed me to simply focus on Pi. Okay, and basically I wasn't expecting, but life hit me really hard, and I just had to take a break from everything due to health reasons mainly, and it took a while to be back, and obviously we still haven't seen open mainnet, and I guess you could say that I've been busy working on projects and everything, but no, it's mostly just working on my mental health, my health in general, and just trying to increase my knowledge about everything in general. But yeah, so right now I've created the Pioneers Pages newsletter, which is a free newsletter going to your mailbox, every Sunday with some of the best Pioneer content that is available. I write it myself, and in the hopes of educating the readers and perhaps inspiring some others. But yeah, that's what I've been mainly up to, Gray.
Yes, you did mention, sometimes people don't realize that when you're immersed in a project like Pi Network, some of us are quite fully immersed. So at times it can be daunting, and private life also comes into the fray. People don't realize that, we've got other things in our lives besides Pi Network that we do. You mentioned mental health. I'm not going to get into any details about what it was, but in a general sense, we all go through stages or phases in our lives where we feel some sort of loneliness or regression or stagnation and all of that, and things you expect to happen may not go the way you expect. And remember, we're humans, people. We are humans. So sometimes some expectations don't gain ground and we sort of fold back into a certain way. Can you explain how to tackle? I don't know. There is no specific formula to tackle mental health, but in your experience, how do individuals tackle mental health generally?
Good question. I'll tell you the mistake that I have done. So maybe that's apparent in your life when you've done it, or some listeners can relate to this. But in simple terms, I have, on the top of my value hierarchy, I put wealth first. So basically, everything else comes after wealth. It's make money, sacrifice time for business, build that project, right? Like, don't see the relatives, right? Just put it in more work. And, in hindsight, that may not seem too bad of a bad deal, but, if you don't realize those dreams, if you don't reach that goal, or if it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 years longer, or if you get it, but then it slips out of your hand, then, all those areas of life that you have neglected become just start piling up, where you cannot neglect it no more. Like your mental state is just filled with unresolved problems, and it's just if I had to redo it all over again, I would spend more time just focusing on my mental health and my health first. And it doesn't have to be, too big of sacrifice. I'm not saying go meditate, 12 hours a day and, read for 8 hours. But I mean, just, go on more walks, read more books, just cut out the noise, don't check your phone first thing in the morning, and don't mindlessly consume endless social media, and basically just all those the above, and keep those in check. And if you have any sort of mental health condition, and if you whatever you don't believe, it's better to get second opinion and pay more attention to it, because it could really bite you in the ass. But let's talk about Pi Network, because I'm sure that's what most people are all about. I mean,
yes.
Social media, you can, and maybe I'll drop some tips on this, but Pi Network.
Of course. I mean, this is an introductory segment of the whole show. So obviously, we're not getting personal. Everybody knows that this can be daunting at times. So hey, Pi Network. Listen, Kozii, like I said, we're winging it, so there is no question I'm asking you that I have written down. So I've just put some bullet points here. Let's go from the latest to the not so latest. So right now, as we speak, a lot of pioneers are optimistic about the next phase of Pi Network, which is Open Mainnet. When it was somewhat announced on Pi 2 Day a few weeks ago by Nicholas Kokalis that, the last Pi 2 Day before Open Mainnet is what we've just had. How was your feeling then? I mean, what sort of what was going through your head, considering everything we've been through with Pi Network?
Well, I think, to be straight up with you, I think I got confused, because there was just a couple of projects that were launching, like Workforce Pool was launching. There was an NFT project called Pieballs. I was involved in that, which sold out in like 10 minutes. But things like that were under horizon, and I think I got caught up with everybody else being a bit more optimistic, because let's face it, Pi's been going for 4 years, and maybe it will go open mainnet. Back then we didn't have these 3 conditions that we need to meet. And if I remember correctly, it was just your typical, or maybe it will happen, and then things looked positive for some reason. Maybe it was just us. Maybe I was too over optimistic. I don't know, but um, yeah, it's when I look back, I think it was too big of a move for me to commit to a lot of things all at once. But as I kind of think back and what I've been writing on Twitter about how the core team would communicate in advance of open mainnet, opening, because we have to, prepare our marketing campaigns. We have to reactivate our community. That hasn't happened. And basically, I'll like a silly guy, I kind of just also believed that people are optimistic. They say Pi Network open, it could happen, and I thought it would. But I did have a plan that if it doesn't, then I could still make money and chase my own dreams and whatnot. But like I said, after that, it's gonna be downhill. But this time is different because it was last year December, so 6 months after Pi Today 2023. It was the core team themselves who set out these three conditions that we are, about 66% on the way there. So it's not just randomly claiming that maybe it will happen this year. Now it's saying that okay, we're just gonna have to hit those three those milestones and not have any major wars or political warfare or anything like that, and then open it will happen this year. And if you looked at the announcement, they did say this is the last Pi Today without open mainnet. And one thing I picked up on is that they even said on one of their lines, basically in the article, it says it is time to enact this grace period and the rolling window because the network needs to go to open mainnet in 2024. ... So I mean, it's not me who wrote this. It's the Pi core team, and they also think it is now time to transition to open mainnet.
Right. Yeah. So I was live, which happens almost every time I am live on Pi Day or Pi 2 Day, particularly Pi 2 Day. So that was the third time I've been live on Pi 2 Day that while I'm live or while I was live, a pivotal announcement was made. This happened while I was live. So I was live doing my thing, telling people there's going to be an announcement, because I always know there's going to be an announcement, but the specifics of the announcement is kind of very gray and ambivalent. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going into any concrete, proclamation, but I can just say, you know what? There's going to be a huge announcement. And lo and behold, while I was, I think about 30 minutes into the live show, it was posted on our apps that such and such. So I started listening to it, and I played it live. I actually played it live for people to hear.
Wow.
And then that's when obviously the euphoria started to kick in, and I had to read it and then understand what was happening. And then I thought, you know what? Okay, this is great. Do you know what I mean? So, however, I've always had my reservations. We still have the feedback though. Kozii, we still have the feedback. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you. So I personally have my reservations, of course, which I believe most people do have, but a lot of people are very optimistic because we've never had any such news since we joined Pi Network. I mean, the news that's quite concrete, because Nicholas is extremely discreet when he's announcing things. He never ever reveals anything concretely. He would give you this sort of ambivalence, like, oh yes, such and such is going to happen, but we need to do this and that. We can't go into mainnet yet because we need to make sure that our utility platforms are formed properly, this and that. So he would give you all these little conditions here and there. But this time around, it felt like they believe that the conditions will be met. Barring any extenuating circumstance, the conditions will be met. That's how it sounded to me when I listened to it the fourth time. because I listen to these things severally. I don't listen to it once or twice. I listened to it 4 times on the same night. And I was like, okay, I think I get it now. I get where this gentleman is coming from and I get where he's going. The question I want to ask you is, do you believe we do have 3 conditions, especially the second condition, which is in the hands of the pioneers? Do you believe the second condition in particular, which is in the hands of pioneers, could be met before the end of 2024? Now, the second condition, you know what they are. It's subdivided into 3. You know, we have the KYC, we have the mainnet migration, and we have the utility platforms that we need to get at least 100 of. Do you think we would meet all of them before the end of 2024?
Honestly, I'm hopeful, but the migrated pioneers number is a bit, hit or miss. Here's why. So the KYC pioneers number, so we need 50 million. We've got 12 million, right? That's easier to do 3 million KYC because it's just one thing. But in order to be migrated, you need further checks and things to complete on your mainnet checklist, and we need like 4 million. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. And the apps, we've got 70 right now, and we need 100. We are up 30 apps since December, so maybe we'll get another 30 apps ready. In the ready state, they are maybe ready, but not up to the core team standards, right? So I will just go through how I see each of them. So first of all, the KYC. Basically, there's been liveness checks implementations, like new ones, and working on the KYC infrastructure. That's by the core team. That's good. I'll just go on to the second one. The migration. Apparently, that's been the infrastructure of mainnet migration has been radically improved, which is great. And I'll quickly go through. And for these 2 points specifically, it is basically the grace period that I think will be making the most effect, because the grace period that this core team has now introduced is basically saying, okay, guys, you got okay, Miss Pioneers, you all got 3 months to start your KYC, or else your pie is lost. And for a lot of people who passed, right, that's no problem. But for if you have people in your earning team, if you invited people that you care about, or you need to think about inviting them back right now, or else they're going to miss out. And of course, your referral bonus is also going to be wasted. And I think that the psychological pull from the fear of missing out will make sure that people come back. Not all of them will come back. I think millions will miss out. I don't think, like, for example, when I was inviting people in 2019, I used the website, I paid a premium, and I was blasting out invites until I got absolutely banned, and they changed the terms and conditions of using that website. So there's no way for me to reach to any of those pioneers, and I can say goodbye already to most of my earning team. But it is what it is. I don't really care. There's more pie to be earned later in the future for all of us pioneers, and yeah, it is what it is. And lastly, well, not lastly, but just add on top of this. So the psychological pull will get gradually stronger and stronger and stronger. So, like right now it's implemented, the news not going to reach everyone, right? But suppose it's, September, and it's coming to end of September, and maybe the core team announces a date for open mainnet, or maybe, who knows, like there's maybe a countdown, maybe, some more concrete time of opening the mainnet, or like the steps or something like that, right? Like, I think it will have a positive effect. We gotta keep our eyes on the numbers, which we will. and we'll keep you updated in like the Pioneer Pages newsletter. So that's about those 2 points. And just lastly, on the apps, so the Ready app, we need 30 more, and I don't know how many apps are there. It's hard to estimate. Like I'm not sure how people are estimating. I'm not sure if it can be done outside the core team, but that's kind of in the hands of core team that decides which one is ready, which one isn't. But one good thing about this is that they are actively working on. Basically, what they are doing is some cohorts, which are like a group session of educating these app creators to improve their app. So it's mentoring them and also giving them some monetary grants, to maybe cover server costs, etc. So they're teaching them, showing them the ways to improve their app, so they are in the ready state, and I think that's quite well needed for some apps as well. But all I can say is that we are heading the right direction. Our numbers are growing a lot. The implementations have been there now implemented to basically see more pioneers pass KYC and migrate to mainnet, and efforts are being made to get even more apps ready. Can it be done? Well, my thought is, hopefully, right? The core team seems to think so, and they've got all the data. They see a lot more than us, and if they are optimistic about hitting their own goals that they set, and they are actively working towards hitting those goals, then I'm gonna be on their side. I'm not gonna, not this time. I'm not gonna go against them, but we'll see. What do you think, Ray?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, me personally, I've never really been against the core team. I've been cautiously optimistic about the road to mainnet. You know what I mean? And personally, like I said, when you've got people who sort of, I wouldn't say follow every word you say, but are very reliant on the information you give them, you want to be on the side of giving information that is relatively true. Do you know what I mean? And because some people interpret what you say in different ways, so you want to be as clear as possible so as to not confuse the listener or the viewer. So me personally, what I believe is that the problem that I see, let me start with the problem, is mainnet migration. That is the problem I see, based on everything, because I do, validate a lot of people on a weekly basis and so on. I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis. When you do the estimation, I may have validated hundreds of people, but are they all going to be KYC'd? No, not all of them, because they may not have got one aspect of the process correct. So they will not be KYC'd, or they may not be KYC'd. So again, I look at that. If they're not KYC'd, it means they don't get migrated. So people would say, yeah, but we're validating, and people aren't still getting KYC'd and effectively migrated. What is the problem? In my experience in validating, what I've seen is a lot of people are not following the instructions. Some people are using liveness checks on their phone, so they're filming liveness checks on their phone. So there's a sub phone, another phone, where they're using their proprietary phone to film that as a liveness check. Do they not understand what liveness check is? Liveness check is like taking a selfie video. That's what it is. So you're following instructions by what is being shown on the screen, as to say, okay, turn to your right, turn to your left, smile, and all those things. That's liveness check, to know that you are, a human being. But no, some of them don't know that. And then there's another one where you get two people on the same screen. Who the hell am I validating? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's another thing. You get two people on the same sort of footage. Who am I validating? So therefore, I need to turn you down. And now they've improved the validation process. They give you an option as to why they didn't pass that particular stage of the validation. You say, okay, multiple people on the screen or whatever, or somebody using another device to film it as opposed to using that particular device. So what I'm trying to say is the problem is mainnet migration, and it's not to do with the Pi core team. It's to do with us. Remember, I told you the second condition is controlled by the pioneers. We are the ones that will determine who gets migrated, when they get migrated, and so on and so forth. Not the Pi core team. It's us. So if you, and of course, if I even validate somebody and it's not correct, the AI would also determine that it's not correct. So it's not just us who are validating, there's an algorithm there, which is also doing the validation process. So again, like I said, my problem has always been mainnet migration, and it has nothing to do with the Pi core team because they set out the store. We have to follow the instructions. Do you know what I'm saying? However, are we going to get to mainnet by the end of the year? I would say it's 50-50. It's 50-50 to me.
I agree, 50-50. Look, there's some things that are in our control, but look, it's not also going to decide. It's not also we're going to make the decision. Okay, we're going to, we could validate 20 million KYCs, but let's say that there's a political war coming, like maybe World War III, something like that. Then, so it's not just it's 50-50. But I think the best advice I can give to every listener is just to be prepared for the worst. Okay, it's just don't expect open mainnet. Be surprised if it happens, and don't put it in your budget. Like don't overspend and say, oh well, by the latest December, I'm gonna get some money from Pi, and no, don't. You just keep follow us and keep up to date with the news and hope for the best and keep on trying our best. And just one last thing to add, that if we have 60 million engaged pioneers, where are all those people? Like some of those people just need to be reactivated. They just need to go through, because I know there must be tons of people who simply just ignore the notification, or maybe they just don't know what KYC is. We're not all technologically sophisticated, right? Pi may not be an app that makes sense for every user, right? But we'll have to continue to do more to make sure more and more people try to pass KYC. And hope for the best. It is 50-50. We seem to be on track. Like on the migration, I'll give you an example just from the newsletter that's coming on Sunday. So basically, from so we need an average of 23,500 migrations per day to reach 10 million by the end of the year. What do you think we're averaging right now since Pi Day 2024?
3,000.
Well, no. So since 3 months ago, since Pi Day 2024,
since Pi Day,
it's 12,000 migrations per day.
Yeah,
so we need more than double. So can it be done? Hey, we'll see. Right? I mean, we can only hope for the best and do our best. We must. That's all we can and should do. That's it.
All right. So sticking with sticking with the theme or the subject of open mainnet, this will be the final one before we get to the next one. When do you reckon? Be categorical in this one, because if I were to put out a poll right now and ask people, when do you think open mainnet is going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. They will all choose what they want. So if I were to put out the poll right now and I was to say it could happen right now, it could happen in September, it could happen in December, it could happen on Pi Day, it could happen just before Pi 2 Day next year. When, in your opinion, do you reckon it could happen?
2 days, my good friend. It's either the festive season, so Christmas or New Year's, or Pi Day. That's about it. Those are the obviously Pi Day. I think we don't have to explain it to too many people, but it's in our culture. It's a great day to do it. But the festive season, it's more like two ways to look at it. Obviously giving people like presents, maybe an airdrop for some free money, or like New Year's Eve. It's a new beginning, it's a new chapter. It's a new opening. Leaving the past behind and looking forward to a new future. So I think those are very much are the only times. I really don't think there are any other times. Um, what do you think?
I did a video, I think immediately after the announcement, and I sort of, I do play devil's advocate most of the time, but this has got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the timeline of what I'm looking at. And we have a 6-month grace period, right? So within this 6-month grace period, it was strategically placed. It started a few days ago on the 1st of July. And when you look at it strategically, it's going to end on the 31st of December, based on, now this is the condition here, based on when you became a pioneer. So, or when your KYC process was in. So probably some people's one is in tentative KYC, some people's one is under review, some people's one somehow has been barred because of some infringements and so on and so forth. So those are the mitigating circumstances one. But under normal conditions, if you are not a new pioneer, then it's supposed to start from the 1st and will end on the 31st, right? Now, so I set out everything and I said, okay, so if that's the case, then who thinks or who actually believes that open mainnet will happen within this period? The Core team are known to be like the old Manchester United. They can't do 2 transfers at a go. They do 1 transfer and then wait till it's done before they do another transfer, and then and so on and so forth. So I don't think personally that it will happen this year. I believe it could happen on the 1st of January, or it could happen on Pi Day. Pi Day. Now, my reason being, they may make an announcement, which will be a good Christmas or New Year's present, that open mainnet is going to be on Pi Day. Categorically, they're certain about it. And then they would say that the grace period, the technical grace period, will come to an end on the 31st of December. Therefore, we should be prepared for mainnet on such and such day. It could be between the 1st of January and the 14th of March 2025. That is how I broke it down to people in my video. So if you are to tell me, I would say earliest will be 1st of January, latest will be the 14th of March 2025, based on the explanation that I've given. What do you think about that?
Yeah, those are good explanations. Here's what I think. I do think that, because the core team set out this target for themselves, I do think they actually want to hit it this year. So I think it's more likely that, New Year's than Pi today. And I'll give you one interesting observation why as well. So if you think of the grace period and everybody's got 6 months, that might be true, but the largest numbers of pioneers only got 3 months, because everybody must. So unless you're a brand new pioneer, like you just started today, you must apply for KYC in 3 months. Which basically, guess what? It's the last day of the
September.
1st quarter of this
September.
year.
Yeah.
So if basically we allow this to happen and it comes to October the 1st, then basically I think that behind the scenes, the core team is looking at the screens and just a vast majority of pioneers' balances are just zeroed, which basically give them and us a better estimation of how many Pi there will be. And I'm just they won't tell us obviously, but for them it's important because they already gave 3 months to most of the pioneers, and those pioneers will not come back. We can just discount them totally. So maybe they will make some preparations, but I think that 3 month period is going to play an important role, because if people disregard the message completely and they don't start, then their Pi is zeroed, and on top of that, if all those people start and everybody, the people who actually want to keep their Pi, right? Like if they all start their Pi, KYC and migration, all that. It doesn't matter if you stuck or error message or being rejected. At least you started, so you still got like 6 months or like a rolling period. You have nothing to worry about. I would personally not worry about that. I think it's. I mean, that's the only thing you can do is not to worry about it. Just do your best, try to pass, and if your KYC application is stuck, just wait, try to reapply if it's possible, and that's it. So that's what I think. To be fair, um, if it's 6 or 9 months, it's not that big of a difference when we've been waiting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
who cares?
Exactly. That's what I've told the audience. I've told them that listen, it's not a race for who gets it right. It's not a race for that. Nobody is. I'm not even thinking that way. What I want is that the project, our beloved Pi Network, the project that most of us have invested resources and time into, gains ground and gains ground hard. And a lot of people who've put in the work would benefit from that. That's all that I look forward to. So as opposed to the timeline, or as with the timeline, I would say, listen, whether it's December, November, October, January, February, March, I don't mind, because at the end of the day, like you said, I've said it again in other videos, that we've been mining this, particularly you and I, we've been mining this for 5 years, since 2019. So, I mean, what is there to wait for 6 months maximum, or 9 months? No, 6 months minimum, or whatever, 9 months maximum. I can wait. I can patiently wait, because I know no matter what happens, when Pi hits wherever it wants to hit, whether it's the exchanges or the the DEXs or wherever, we know that Pi Network is going to be something spectacular. I know that. You know that. I mean, a project that's lasted this long. Come on.
Yeah, this is a super interesting topic. What I think we should talk about. You said obviously what you wish to happen and what you want to see, and I agree. Obviously, like waiting a couple of months is no big problem for me, but it's kind of a question mark for most people, because many tend to believe that open mainnet is gonna be the retirement day, the time to just buy the private islands, the jets, the Lamborghinis, and I'll be the first to try wake people up and say no, guys. It's really important to try to think long term, because this project is really not about making you or the miner a multi-millionaire or billionaire. It's not about this. It's totally much more than about this. Okay, it's about creating the most accessible cryptocurrency in the world, and by doing this, then what we need to do is actually start using this cryptocurrency everywhere, and a lot of people have to use this cryptocurrency. It's not going to be enough that oh, now it can be traded in the exchanges. Happy days. No, sir. It will not be the case if everybody just says, "Yep, that's it," and sells, or just gives up, or just writes a tweet and says, "Awesome." Then I'm sorry to say that this project is doomed. What has to happen is, in this 6 month period, in this preparation to open mainnet, we need to slowly get every single pioneer back active and back online, and start to make more progress. There will be a Pi festival, there will be Pi hackathons. We need to do more, obviously, and when Pi open mainnet happens, even though people will want to sell, like, I will not go into details about this just right now. We can in a bit, but not everybody will be able to sell all their, because many people are looking up for 3 years, and that's great. But what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I foresee, going out into cities and getting people to involve, going to create events, and just trying to get shops to use it, getting people getting the theme like the purples out in the future, just because here's the thing, right? Okay, I I'm talking to my good cousin of around 43 years who's a technologically savvy guy. Okay, he likes video games and technology, big geek fan. But he never bought Bitcoin. He didn't buy at 100 or 1,000, 10,000 or 60,000. And I just asked him after been talking to him for so long, when we just being bored, like what should happen to Bitcoin so people buy it, or like what needs to happen? And he said, well, there needs to be more places where people can use it, and there needs to be people who actually use it, instead of just holding on to it. And those are very valid points. Like we definitely are not and should not be this
Yeah,
type of
sorry,
culture that always.
Kozii, sorry for cutting you. When you were saying that, something came to mind about the almost universal usage of Pi network, or Pi, as it were. Do you think that and people, please, you can keep your questions coming. There will be that time when I'll read your comments and your questions properly. So please keep it coming. Don't stop. I've seen all of them. I've saved them. So don't worry. I'll be able to read them out. Kozii, do you think that it would be, I mean, looking at the US dollar, for instance, as say the most universally used currency on earth, fiat currency on earth, do you think it would come to a time when Pi network, because Bitcoin is trying in other countries, but it's not really working? Do you think that Pi, as it were, would come to a point where it would be accepted universally when cryptocurrency actually takes effect? Do you think so?
It's possible, but not in the way that you think. Try not. Thing is, the US dollar is is basically backing the entire systems, the governments, the countries, the infrastructures. Everything is kind of pegged to that. So, for example, if you're already unlucky, like in Venezuela or Turkey, or somewhere where the currency is debasing and doesn't worth anything, that's a big problem, like hyperinflation. But most countries, not all of them, but most countries are very, very much tied to the US dollar. So if the US dollar starts sinking, it's not the US economy who will face trouble. If the US dollar starts going down, and there's going to be a problem everywhere in the world. So instead, instead of trying to replace the US dollar, what us pioneers have to focus on is just create our community and focus on our community, focus on us as people, as pioneers. Okay, instead of if you have a friend who's a barber, okay, if you have a friend who's got a cafe, if you got a friend who got any kind of business, okay, try to use Pi instead, and try to get them to use Pi instead, to accept Pi, etc. It's going to be a very, very hard thing not to use fiat or US dollar, but instead we can focus on ensuring that we use Pi between our pioneer friends and family members and people, and support pioneer businesses. Like if you can buy an iPhone from any shop worldwide for exactly the same price, you may as well buy it for Pi from a pioneer, right? Like things like that. So it is possible, and I think this is where it's going to be an advantage for Pi, because where Bitcoin is more like designed for you. Well, it's not designed, but now it is basically a digital gold that you may as well just buy and don't touch, and just forget about it. Pi is more like you can mine it for free. Tell your friends they can mine it for free. Okay, now you are all earning. You can may as well implement into your business, accept it. That's great. Nobody really has to know what kind of transactions are going through. It's not. It's a public record, of course, but why did you send somebody 10 Pi? Like, who knows, right? Like, that may be an exchange. Nobody will ever find out. So it's a great way, and this system is in the people's hands. Like if you're a pioneer and you're earning Pi, great. You are being rewarded for believing and supporting this project. And there are multiple ways to earn even more. You can invite people, or you can run a node, and you can validate KYCs, do your security circle, and of course, there's just even more, like just using the app. So all this is basically to say that what we gradually have to do more and more and more is use Pi more and more and more. And even if there's whatever the price may be, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That just has to be it. And that's what I think. We do have a chance at anything, right? But if we want to do any of that, then as a community, as the pioneer community, who's like a global digital country, then we almost do more and more by transacting with each other for Pi, helping each other get educated on Pi, just going to places together, do things together. And obviously, I don't expect everyone to do this like today. I don't think it's possible, but that's what will have to happen. If it turns out to be we're just this mining project that just waited 5 years so it can be, given to all the miners, and after that, nothing happens, then the dream shall stop.
Yeah, Gabriel, thank you so much for the 12 euros. Really appreciate that. Being a member as well and contributing to the channel. Really appreciate it. It always goes back to the channel anyway. All these graphics that you see on the screen is paid for. It's not free. You can't, if you get free StreamYard, you'll not be able to do this. You can't have a background and a overlay. You can't have those things. It doesn't work. So I pay every month, and that's the money I used to pay. So hey, thank you so much for that, Gabriel. Appreciate it. There's so many questions coming in. You and I are gonna answer them, so we will alternate it and see that to the best of our ability how we can answer them. Let me see. I do have another question, but I think I will discuss that after we've been able to tackle these questions. So keep it coming. I'll go straight to Lizzie because she's a member. So I obviously go to my members first. You see, I just spoke about her, and look at her. She just gave 10 Canadian dollars. So definitely I have to prioritize her. Thank you so much, Lizzie. She said, good show, Ray. I know you're always here. Thank you so much. Now, Lizzie's question is this. Do you think Pi will be our survivable level? Example, pay bills, buy food, pay rent, or mortgage? Now, I'll throw this at you, Kozii, since obviously you are the one that, spoke a lot about these things.
Yeah, that's a good question. I used to say that Pi is universal basic income. So, whatever you are earning, pretty much no effort, like, just to be earning, it will be enough for some of it. Like you said, paying for food or, paying bills, definitely. Rent or mortgage, maybe. Thing is, we don't quite know, obviously, because the valuation or the price just hasn't appeared. Like, it is going to be possible with some time and some luck, but I don't think it's going to be equal. Like, it's not going to be that you press a button and okay, your rent is paid because you just earn so much. I don't think we can produce that much money for pioneers. It's just, to reach that stage, we would have to be a few years down the line when there's 500 million people are using it, and there's just so much value to Pi that you can indeed pay for rent and mortgage. We don't know. I mean, and just one thing is that it's very hard to estimate, because it's not only that people like you and me don't know what the price will be of Pi when it starts, but also what it will be when a year passes. Because even though the price may go up to, just for the sake of example, from $1 to $100, you may be earning like 95% less because there's so many people join the network that you weren't even prepared for. Because like right now, in 5 years, the 60 billion people joined. But if this concept is really adopted, we can, like, I foresee the next 100 million pioneers just onboarding. But because that happens, then everybody will be earning less. So I honestly don't know. We don't know. It's if you've been mining for some time, you've probably made a good amount of you've accumulated some time, whether that's going to be for an investment, whatever. It's great, and you'll be earning. You are earning already some income, whatever that may be. It's better than nothing, and only time will tell. And it's only you who'll decide when you sell as well. Like that's very important. If for example if you're mining 15 Bitcoin a day and you just kept on cashing out on that day, back in 2010, you'd be earning $50 a day. But if you would have waited, it could have been more like $2.5 million a day. So it's possible.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kozii. Obviously, there's another one from Lizzie. She said, and do you think the banks will accept Pi as payment? Banks. But then again, isn't the reason Pi is banks are the reason we're actually mining all these cryptos, because we want to stay away from banks, right? Because they are, for all intents and purposes, a bit of a problem. Do you know what I mean? So, I personally don't think so, because we have exchanges, and if you're on the right exchange, like I said, a much more secure, scalable exchange, then I believe your crypto is secure. Banks, I don't really think banks are the way when it comes to crypto, but you have an opinion on that. So Kozii, go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ray. The last people who will want to be doing anything to do with these currencies are the legacy system, because these legacy systems literally live on the fiat currencies bad points, like the transact. It's just a total mess. Think of it like this: instead of living life where you have to where you keep your money in the bank and all the transactions are going out from that, etc., etc. We want to transition to basically having our own currency, which is basically Pi, and pay things from that. And it may not happen overnight, but who knows? Maybe there will be a financial institution or a fintech innovation which basically accepts Pi as a collateral and gives you banking facility services. So, for example, like PayPal, like I just said something, or whatever, right? It depends. If there's enough demand, if there's enough people, then there will be more use cases popping up. But you can continue using your bank just as usual, and you can think of Pi as like your actual own bank, just another bank account, which has different functions, or you use it for different things, or there's a different purpose attached to it. Maybe that's your holiday fund, maybe that's your whatever, right? But definitely, those are great questions, Lizzie.
Yeah, great questions. I actually want to add to it because she's added a comment, and it actually brought something to mind immediately. She said, "True, but my bank, Royal Bank of Canada, takes Bitcoin and Ethereum as payment currently." Now, I want to add to that. So they're taking that. Remember, crypto. Up until recently, remember the ETFs that happened recently, a few months ago, prior to the halving of Bitcoin. BlackRock and all those people started buying Bitcoin. Why do you think they did that? All these people were lambasting cryptocurrency as a source of money laundering and terrorists using it to fund their activities and so on and so forth. Yet these same people came back immediately. The ETFs were announced. Suddenly they were buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. So what I see here is the banks that actually need us as opposed to the other way around. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, when the white paper of Pi Network was released back in 2019, one of the things I read there was it's going to be beneficial to the unbanked. To the unbanked. Remember, you go to some countries, some people don't even have a bank account. Why don't they have a bank account? Because maybe they don't work, or they don't have any money to be able to even open a bank account or whatever. So, if you have Pi as the currency you own, remember you have custody, just like what's his name, Peter Damgard here has said. He said, "Not your key, not your coins exchanges. Long live the custodial Pi wallet." Pi is non-custodial, it's not custodial. So remember that it's non-custodial wallet, not custodial wallet. But you have your non-custodial wallet, which means you're in control of it. You have your passphrase and everything, so you own propriety to your own Pi coin. So to me personally, the banks need us as opposed to we need them. That's the way I see it. So you saying, Lizzie, that your bank, Royal Bank of Canada, takes Bitcoin and Ethereum as a payment currently. They know that the value, not the price, the value of Bitcoin and Ethereum will always be there. They know that. Not the Canadian dollars, not the US dollars, not the British pound sterling, not the euros, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and in our case, selfishly, Pi. Do you know what I mean? So, personally, the banks need us more than we need them. What do you think, Kozii? Just summarize that.
I think those banks are just they see that the biggest banks and institutions are pushing this, so they think, oh, that's what they're going to buy because it's gonna go up in price. They heavily advertising it, so people are buying. So they're going to accept it, and for them it's just like this small portion of the allocation. Like there's gonna be out of the millions of customers they have, maybe like less than 1% deposit some crypto. It's only a very small risk. But hey, I mean, whatever, right? I mean, in the end, it's I don't think it's too big of a big deal either way. I don't know, man. I genuinely don't. We don't have that in England, for example. I'm not aware of any banks. Maybe there's like Revolut and like financial institutions, like something else. But I think for some time we'll still be paying for a lot of our stuff in fiat. So we're gonna have to use some kind of a bank account. But if you've been in crypto for a while or whatnot, then that maybe you shouldn't keep maybe all of your money in fiat. Maybe there's just way to buy some cryptocurrency, etc. But of course that's super risky. That's why many people are not joining it, as well as other reasons. But overall, I foresee more like if there's going to be loads of people using Pi, like like 100 millions, then there will be some banks considering it, of course, or maybe there will be new technology created to implement Pi as well. It just depends how much demand there is for Pi. If it's just gonna be one of 10,000 that's whatever, they don't care. There's a reason why it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? It's top 1 and 2, right? It's no other else, So the original and well, I mean, Ethereum is kind of original as well, obviously, and the biggest. Yeah. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Great question from Lizzie. Really appreciate that, Lizzie. Let me see. While I'm going through the questions, let me see. I would want to advise people to get their referrals to come back to mine and obviously get KYC. Now, how do you do that? A lot of people are saying, oh, they don't know how. There is a way. Use your chat room, your own personal chat room, And obviously, when you send it, if they still have Pi on their phone or wherever they do mine Pi, then they should be able to receive the prompt. Some of them may ignore it. Yesterday, I did send some message out there to everybody, and some of them did respond. Some said they've tried to get KYC, still in the whatever, they're not getting KYC. I said they should keep trying. And clearly, a lot of people have abandoned the project. I understand, of course, but you can do your best to bring at least 1 or 2 people back. Some may have mined quite a bit in the early days, so the Pi can't go to waste, which means that your 25% can't go to waste. The 25% from which they've contributed to you shouldn't go to waste as well. So you have to get them back, and you have to have some convincing power to do that. That's why me personally, when I started mining, I always invited people I knew, and then as time went on, when I became a content creator on YouTube, I started putting my invitation code. The earlier videos had that, but not the recent videos. But the earlier 2021 videos, they had that. You would see on the top left or top right corner, I put my credentials of Pi Network there for people to see. And I stopped doing that because I realized I didn't know the people who were joining. And I love to be very personal with the people who join me. And I couldn't find any way to contact them other than to use my chat room to contact them. And they weren't responding. So I'd stopped doing that. But now, obviously, there are many, many ways of contacting people, so it's much easier. That's why I still put it out there. But hey, I get 1 or 2 people joining. So that's the advice I want to give you. Get people coming back so your unverified balance will get verified. If not all of them, some of them, or most of them. Kozii, let me ask you something. This has nothing to do with Pi Network. It's just something I thought I'll ask you. Are you mining any other cryptos, mobile mining cryptos, apart from Pi Network? Just briefly. Don't say any. Don't give any details.
No, sir.
You're not. All right. No, well, no. It's up to you. You don't have to. I wasn't until last year. I wasn't until last year.
Everybody else is doing it, so maybe I should, like my following and but I don't know, man. Like for me, the big problem that all these have is the no demand for them coins, and for basically just giving it up for free, going on an exchange, and then everybody's dumping it.
Yeah, it's short-termism.
That's a big problem.
Short-termism. All of them have short-termism, apart from Pi Network. Now, there is one that's like taking the crypto industry by storm. It's called the tap to mine apps, or the tap to mine forms of crypto. You've heard of them. You've seen them, right? You've seen them.
Oh yeah, from the Pi Bridge.
Not Pi Bridge, actually. Tap to mine, as in on Ton, the open network on Telegram. Have you seen those ones? Yeah. Like there's one called Tap Swap. There's one called Hamster Combat. There's another one called those ones. Have you tapped into any of them?
Good friend is, my good friend is telling me about it. I don't know, man. I haven't really checked them out. But it's on Telegram. I know Telegram is very popular. I also know Telegram's absolutely full with bots. Absolutely brim with bots. So
yes.
When I see Hamster Combats, maybe that's a great success in the coming. Maybe those millions and millions of people. Who knows? But from my time experience over the years in Telegram, I can with much confidence say that many of those are just bot farms. But who knows? Yeah. Are you mining?
I'm mining 3 of them, and I'm not really mining it as regularly as people might think. But hey, I'm looking at them, and I'm sort of a bit wary of all of those. I feel like the so-called success of one of them, which is called Notcoin, made people think that all of them are going to be successful. But I know for sure that maybe 90% of them are going to be complete failures, because it's all the work of Telegram getting people engaged on their platform. You understand? And what best to use than cryptocurrency? Once you mention cryptocurrency, we need to get there. So everybody's using Ton, which is the open network, the blockchain of what's the name? Telegram. You understand? So they've used that and have got hundreds of millions of people engaging on their platform, Telegram. Because Telegram wasn't one that people engaged on compared to like X or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and so on, or even Twitch. Now, people who are crypto enthusiasts, not even crypto enthusiasts, followers of crypto enthusiasts, will just divert to that place and start tapping. They'll just be tapping their phones. You think they're crazy, you think they're playing games, but they're actually tapping. So I'm like, God, this is crazy. You know what I mean? But anyway, I just thought, let me just bring that in to see where your mind is on that. But I can see you're just a minnow.
Well, look, after being exposed to crypto for 7 years, and after being down some of the scammiest sites, scammiest channels, scammiest groups, most of them are on Telegram. I can tell you that the natural tendency of people towards the path of least resistance and for the quick money, the quick gains, it will never change in crypto. Like basically, over the years, cryptocurrency has become more and more saturated. There's more coins than ever popping up. There's more projects being created that literally just copy the other ones. That there's no original ideas anymore, and the crypto space is not growing at a state that these projects are growing. Maybe that, just to give you an example, maybe there's 100 million people in total in crypto, but instead of 10,000 projects like 4 years ago, now there's 100,000 projects. So all the money that's going into the space is distributed a lot, a lot to a lot more places. That's why you don't see too many moonshots like back in the day. Now there's tons of scams on Solana, etc. And to be fair, these projects, these free tap to mine and free to mine projects, they basically give something for free for all these users, and I hope that they succeed in whatever they are doing, but it in a sense this is also something that we want to combat with Pi Network. We definitely, like, I know many people, including myself, I guess, or you yourself, Ray, came for the quick money or some money, right? And that's okay, but over the years we have been disciplined and taught that that is not why we are staying, and in order to achieve success we need to think different. The whole point of Pi Network is to create an accessible cryptocurrency, and become the most widely used cryptocurrency out there. But to do that, there's a whole lot of different things that needs to happen, and it's not just about opening the app, pressing the button and just selling it as soon as you can, and that will not bring us closer. And I think it can be done, but there has to be a shift in perception. I think people need to kind of wake up. Like, okay, we don't want to use the banks, we don't want to pay taxes, or we don't want to do anything with the old systems. Yet the best we can do is like 1 second a day on one. Like if Pi goes to open mainnet, we have a lot of work to do in front of us. I'm not even joking. Like if it's not just going to happen on the streets overnight. People will actually have to go outside and advertise and market. I think the community is the biggest double-edged sword that we are wielding. It literally is. Right now it's pointing at our neck, because if our communities like this, like we got 60 mil engaged, we got 6 mil migrated, comfy. No, we're very passive, and we've gone dead silent, and that absolutely has to be changed before open mainnet. So I pray to God that core team is doing something about this, because that's the only way forward. Is to really hammer down on the community, build a culture, actually start using the currency, and just spread awareness everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but in our families and friends, right? Like in our circles. That makes the biggest difference, right? It's better to be creating value to your friends and family, rather than just being a car salesman trying to get people to buy cryptocurrency number 1072 on the coin market cap, right? Like, Pi is very, very different, and I think they are on the right track. It may not be as obvious if you just start mining today. It may not be as obvious if you've mined for 6 months. Uh, but from my observations, I can tell that if we really want to empower all the people with a powerful technology and get people away from the shitty systems that we are all enslaved to, then Pi is a very, very good attempt. I haven't paid a single cent still for my Pi in 5.5 years, and I won't ever will. It's all free. It's all given to me for free, and because I'm grateful, I want to give back to the network. I will do my best to aid this network, and more people need to get this because as going to be a large Web3 community, that's gonna make or break this whole coin. It doesn't matter if price is 1 or 10 or 100. Okay, look at Bitcoin. 60,000. How many people are using Bitcoin? 10 billion, 8 billion, 5 billion, 1 billion? No, like not even 100 million. Crypto is used by like 500 million people in the world, maybe less or more. Who knows? But why hasn't in 15 years been a solution that's gone mainstream? Like, look at TikTok. Like, one thing is TikTok is available and 2 billion downloads on Play Store. Everybody's using it. Everybody's hooked on it. Oh, is that just a coincidence? Is that just because they had good tech? No. Yeah, sure, TikTok made a great technology and, they shielded it hard marketing and it happened in China where there's a lot of people. But it set a trend. It got people to use the technology. It basically allows consumers and creators to both benefit a lot. Content creators can create TikToks and get profit, and TikTok watchers can get free entertainment and information and whatever else they get out there. And so I think Pi is on the same track to do this. Like, sure, as a consumer of Pi, you'll get a digital wallet. You'll get some universal basic income. It's basically a wallet that nobody can take away from you, really. And on top of that, you can do a lot of things for the network, like increasing the network. Spreading awareness. You can build an app. You can validate KYCs. You can trade. You can create events. Whatever, right? There's a lot of things, and the best thing is that you are rewarded on a blockchain level. So basically, it's Pi that rewards you. It's not that you buy somebody's coin and they promise you something that if you do this you'll get that, and maybe you get, maybe you don't. Like, everybody's got these types of opportunities available right now, and they will have to be used because, like, if we are going to have a cryptocurrency that is owned by people, then it's great that we are rewarded by this cryptocurrency itself. So I think it's a phenomenal idea, and how they implemented it all together. I just hope that people will gradually see this, and I know they won't immediately. That's why I'm like creating the newsletter, the pioneerpages.com, to just slowly drip feed information and whatnot. But overall, we are not playing the get rich quick scheme game. Okay, we're not here to make you a million tomorrow night. Okay, we're here to literally empower you with the most powerful cryptocurrency and give it to your friends and family, and then maybe you will not live 10,000 times better than before, but you and your family and your circle who are pioneers will live 10 times better. So those will have to be seen to if they can materialize after open mainnet. I hope so. I hope people don't just abandon the project and they all jump ship and look for the next thing, because out of all the cryptocurrencies, it's Pi who's really shown themselves over the past 5 years that they are doing something totally different, and they're not here for mere bucks. For Joe, we're here to change things up radically. So that's just like my closing thoughts of overall Pi Network, because everything else out there will literally just give you all the reasons So you exchange your hard-earned money for their freely created shitcoin. Period. That's why 7.5 billion people are like this. No, no crypto, no thank you, sir. That's what we are changing.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely, Kozii. Because listen, Pi Network, like I keep saying to people, I'm sounding like a broken record. I joined it 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and when I joined, Kozii can attest to this. It was just a basic app, basic app, lots of bugs. Sometimes you just get into a mode, they'll tell you, all right, yeah, they're doing some troubleshooting or whatever that was. So let's just use the basic form of the app and so on. And we did that because obviously, yeah, it was a new thing. And time has, passed over the past 4 or 5 years. And I've seen us, the users, pioneers, as it were, evolve. So those who've just joined Pi 6 months, a year ago, even 2 years ago, you may not have seen certain things that we've seen, the evolution from where we were to where we are now. And I can tell you we're definitely on the verge of open mainnet or open network as it is. And eventually, people's so-called dreams will come true. Oh yeah, exchanges are gonna list it, this and that. But that's not the end of it. That's the beginning of Pi Network. That's actually, I keep saying this, that's the beginning of Pi Network, and most of the promising things that I see personally that is going to happen in the near future. So to say that Pi Network or to compare all the other ones with Pi Network is a disservice to the project. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think there's any project that even resembles a fraction of what Pi Network is doing or has done so far. There is no crypto project. I can tell you that for sure. Because listen, all these other ones, and I keep saying something that I like organic growth. I've always liked organic growth. I don't like all these transient growths where everybody's going like a sheep and then just following and following and following without having any substance to it. Do you know what I mean? And then when you ask them what's this about, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make money. I'm gonna make money, and that's it. But that's not it, because you have to think about all other aspects of it and then try and make it make sense to you. Don't do it because some so-called influencer is saying, oh yeah, follow this, do that. Oh yeah, do that, it's going to make you rich. No, it's not going to make you rich. Anything that seems too good to be true is definitely not good. Do you understand? Long term, it is crap. So if you're joining this live show with me and of course Kozii, my very dear friend, you should know that Kozii's always been here, but obviously he went on a hiatus. He's back and he's doing his newsletter, so he's going to release the next one tomorrow, or the first. Is it the first one or the next one? First one, right?
It is the next one. The last one was just an introductory, but
Yes.
it is the first one, you could say.
Yeah, so the next one will be tomorrow. So it will be released, and once it's released, I'll also obviously repost it for people to see what that's all about. And you can read it because Kozii is a guy in the know, and he's a pioneer, a proper pioneer of Pi Network. And when I say pioneer, I'm saying it by using the word itself, not the technical term. So he's one of the pioneers of Pi Network. Just remember that. So he used to be a moderator, of course, so he knows certain things that some of you may not even have any idea of. So please, when you're here, while you're here, go follow him. His Twitter handle is Chris Cosma. So it's at Chris Cosma. You go to X and you can follow him. He's got good posts there. Of course, I'll be having him here every now and then. He's ready when I'm ready. So weekends, Saturday and Sunday, we can do something. So hey, it's all good. Have you got anything to tell the audience, Kozii? Have you got anything to tell the audience?
To be fair, I think I said everything, but I'm overall bullish, and I think you should be too, because although it may not seem you could say you may have not realized the profits of your dreams just yet. I think we are in for a surprise of what we're going to see. And I know that many people overestimate what will make them happy or overestimate what will need for Pi Network to succeed. But just look at your situation. Just look around you. I'm not in a bad position myself, but I can bet you that 50% of the population lives a lot worse lifestyle than me. And so Pi Network is kind of designed to target, the people who are not in the best condition. And I say this because the ones who are playing the crypto game and playing with currencies and whatnot, or they are just well off. That's great. The upper 10% is doing fine. They will be doing fine. Whatever, right? But there's just 7 billion people, right, who are still not involved in crypto, and that's our target. That's Pi's target. That's the people who don't use crypto. That's who we want to go for, and that's why we are creating something that is suitable for basically the common man, and that it can be used by anyone, and it should be used because it's useful and it provides value, or it's because it's better than well, I won't say the national currency, because to say that this new cryptocurrency will be a better safe hedge than your national currency is a bit delusional. So I won't say that, but it's just something on the side. Like, that's how it will start off with, in my opinion. Just something on the side for most people, like a side hustle, maybe a part-time new income, universal basic income. If you mined a lot, then you've made some investments. But we are on the right path to bring in loads of people to the cryptocurrency scene, but not the cryptocurrency scene that you know of, not the get rich quick schemes, the loads of lies, endless frauds, and the shitcoin scene that is out there. It honestly, if you've never been there, if you haven't been involved in crypto for a couple of years, if you haven't bought like 20 coins, you may not know what that means, but it really is bad. It really is. And hacks, exchange has, like, it doesn't matter where you put your money, it seems to get hacked. So that's the kind of the overall atmosphere and ecosystem that we should not really get people involved. Like, that's what we're trying to create our own, which is a lot more simpler and easier to use, and that's what we need to focus on. We got our community, we got our good tech. The price is going to be where the price is going to be. We don't know, but it will happen, and when it happens, and even before then, but especially after that, we just have to hammer down and do a lot more, because our decisions compound on a network level. So if loads of people do a lot of good, then it's going to be compounding into a whole lot of greatness, price movements, and everything. But if most people are just going to fall asleep and just shrug and don't care, then that's going to be a big problem. And just those are some of the reasons why most of these airdrop coins or free coins fail, because that's what most people do. And I think Pi is teaching us an important lesson here, and they are implementing systems like the lockups, the KYC, the migration, and everything else to try to think long term, to maybe consider Pi as like as like as an innovation for the future, not your new car tomorrow kind of mentality. But yeah, I think I discussed everything, and I really want to appreciate you, Ray, for arranging this. I hope I was able to provide some value, and yeah, thank you.
Now, thank you so much, Kozii. You definitely have provided a lot of insights, things that we may have discussed here on this channel, things that we may not have discussed here on this channel. All the same, you have provided a lot of value to the things that we do here on the platform. However, I would also entreat all of you, please, while you're here, smash the like button, because I realized that you hadn't. Well, I know it's a very engaging show, so you may have just forgot that, oh, there is a little button that you need to destroy. So go destroy that button right now. Do not hesitate to do that, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. Once YouTube algorithm realize that people are liking it, it can place it on top, and other people would watch what we're doing, because we need pioneers to actually watch these quality content and not these so-called clickbaity contents that people do. Is Kozii frozen? Oh, I thought you were frozen. All right, yeah, you're not. So people, listen. I couldn't read all of your comments. I know there are a lot of comments that need to be read. Validation comments. Some people talking about Athene Network, a scam. Other people saying, should they delete those who gave up on the project? Should they delete them? A lot of people, have different comments and questions, and they're all good ones. But hey, what we came here to talk about was significant, and we tried not to script it. We wanted to be as authentic as possible, and we did that. So I am happy. Normally, when we don't script, but we normally put bullet points and all of that. We didn't even do that. We just winged it, and I think it worked. So hey, smash the like button for that. And Kozii, really appreciate you coming here. I know now that you're back, we should be able to do a lot more. Gabriel, one of my members, is asking you a question, Kozii. So I need that question answered. He said, Kozii, do you know more about the transaction speed for Pi? I read about 1 to 3 seconds to 70K transactions and a maximum of 1 billion transactions a day. Is that true? Do you know anything about that, Kozii?
Yes, Gabriel, thanks for the question. The current speed is about 5.25 seconds, so around 5 seconds. And Pi is meant to be around 3 to 5 seconds, a little bit slower than Stellar. But one thing to note is that our systems are scalable, which means that it can be changed. So basically, right now when there's not much activity and not much urgency needed for transactions, this is the setting, but it can be changed. So the nodes basically use more computational power in order to process transactions quicker. That's what Nicholas said back in the day in the Discord, and that's about it. There's no news when that or if that will happen, but I think it can be turned to be quicker because that's what Nicholas said. If there is a need, but right now it's around 5 seconds.
Right. Thank you so much for that. That was a good question and great answer as well. Really appreciate that. People, listen, we've come to the end. However, I need to tell you something finally before I go. Tomorrow, I'm going to interview the Imota. If you know Imota, it's one of the new mobile mining cryptos. I like the project. I like what they're trying to do. So that's why I'm sort of okay with the interview and everything. So I'm going to interview the chief marketing officer tomorrow at 12 noon GMT, which is 1 p.m. UK time, and 8 p.m. Singapore time, because that's where they're based. They're based in Singapore. So you can join me, listen to what he's got to say. He said he's got some cracking news he's going to deliver to those who are users of the platform. So you can join me and him, of course, tomorrow at the time I've just stated. Kozii, it's been great having you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll be having you again in the next few weeks. Take care of yourselves, people. Name is Ray. Channel is Rays United. Word is peace. And I love you all. Take care of yourselves, man.